Okay, here we go. The next lesson that you need to know when it comes to prophecy. One of the biggest problems that the church has had is that we've studied everything. We've studied numerology, we've studied hermeneutics, we've studied the Old Testament, Torah, the New Testament, Greek, Hebrew, but what we haven't studied, which is the most important, is what I call Israelology, which is the history and culture of Israel. Once you understand the culture and the history of Israel, then you can see God in prophecy. We need to understand Israel and what God is doing in Israel and how they are the ones that are in control of God's time clock. So even as I speak to you today, Israel is at war against Lebanon. And that war will escalate because the Bible code says that there would be a world war this year, not a Middle Eastern war, but a world war. And we're still dealing with Iran, we're still dealing with Russia, so we have to make sure that we keep our eyes open, keep watching and praying for the nation of Israel. Now, what has God shown me since He gave me the original study that He gave me in 2003? Well, a big part of that study was this book right here, Prophecy in the Psalms. Because once I got a hold of that and I really began to study it, I understood that Psalms was the 19th book of the Bible. And in chapter 48, understanding chapter 48, 19th book of the Bible, 1948. And in that book, as we studied, we looked at a word in the 13th chapter of that psalm, and it says, "Go and tell this prophecy to the last generation." In your scripture, it may say the following, but look it up in Hebrew, is Lador Ha'acharon, and that means the last generation. So now you have to understand that God knew that the last generation would take place May 14th, 1948. We would start a countdown to 70 years being the last generation of mankind. That 70 years ends 2017. Now, if you read in the Psalms, you will notice something, that the last two Psalms that have a significance before you begin the countdown of the alphabet, which is Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, which is signified in Psalms 19. You have the last two Psalms, which is Psalms chapter 117 and 118. 17 meaning perfect spiritual order, 18 meaning the new beginning of perfect order. So God is prophesying to us even in the book of Psalms, letting us know that we are living in the last days. So the other thing that the Lord has shown me is this. Let's break this down as we look at the board.